So, good evening, everyone. I'm Vilvian Yora, co-founder of AtoANI. So, I come from the Philippines, which is primarily an agriculture nation. So, my grandparents are farmers themselves, but most of the farmers here are old and poor. In fact, the average age of a farmer is 57 years old, earning as little as $100 per month or less. So, they have to deal with this erratic rain, flood, drought, loans that they can hardly pay, and no market prices for their produce. It's actually a hard life. That is why their children do not want to become farmers themselves and migrate to cities instead. With this, Ato Ani, I hope to show that farming can be a lucrative career. So, starting with eliminating conventional farming practice, which is very much entrenched in our country, and we see three problems. First, farmers rely on overuse of synthetic fertilizers for improving farm productivity, which negatively impacts their health and soil. Second, they incur losses in excess production due to lack of information and demand. And lastly, they are at the mercy of middlemen who unfairly compensate them due to lack of market knowledge. Added to that, because of the traditional monocropping practice with staples like corn, rice, or sweet potato, malnutrition is prevalent in most low income communities. In fact, Bohol, where our farm operations are located, has the highest level of malnutrition in the Central Visayas region. And this year, the pandemic has made it worse with limited market access, which has resulted to tons of vegetable produce that is wasted. And sadly, because of the multiple distribution layers from farmers to customers, the low income families can't afford nutritious food like fruits and vegetables. With that, Ato Ani's produce to demand model fixes many of these issues with these three core elements. First, we aggregate demand. We take pre-orders from customers, which enables us to analyze the type and quantity of crops to be grown by farmers. Second, we train our partner farmers. And third, we eliminate the multiple distribution layers by delivering produce from farmers directly to our customers. Now, expounding on training, we train farmers with technical and business knowledge. We do one-time training at the beginning and conduct weekly check technical support to optimize their farm's productivity. With this, we ensure implementation of sustainable farming practice that conserves soil, requires less farm input, and allows growing a variety of crops. So these are some of the fresh vegetables, spices, and herbs and food products in our portfolio, for which our partner farming communities also consume some of the vegetables that they produce. The pandemic proof elements in our model is the use of technology. We have an existing e commerce platform to capture orders, and we are currently developing an analytics recommendation tool to enable a seamless end to end process execution. Now, the restrictions due to the pandemic made transport difficult. Our supply chain to our original market, which is in Cebu, has been disrupted. So we switched to a local market near the farms within Bohol. By doing so, we ensure that the farmers continue to generate income and that the local rural communities at the base of the pyramid continue to have affordable fresh produce. AtoAni currently generates revenue from the sales of fresh produce and food products, and the customers purchase our products because they are assured of the supply and quality. Our products are affordable and are made from chemical-free practices. With a scalable agriculture model for AtoAni, all of our current and planned expansion for the next 3 years are in impoverished farming communities of Central Visayas. We actually started in Kambuhat with 2 hectares and 3 farmers. And this year, in collaboration with these organizations, we have expanded to 5 hectares with 20 farmers in Anunang. Now, through the partnership, we have enabled the mindset change among these farmers who were initially into monocropping to change to multi-cropping and sustainable farming. This inspired the farmer's family as well to be involved in the farming process. And next year, we will expand in Cebu in collaboration with the humanitarian NGO World Vision. Now, if we are selected as winners in this competition, we will use the prize money to support this expansion in Cebu with the following fund breakdown. Now, I want you to meet the team behind AtoAni. I take on strategy, my mother manages farm operations, and my sister is responsible for sales and product development. We see AtoAni as our family's commitment to encourage more people to adopt sustainable farming practices and a produce to demand local for local model to nourish communities despite the havoc created by this pandemic. Furthermore, the way we use technology in AtoANI could show the youth how their dynamic energy and creativity can transform agriculture and make it nutrition sensitive. With this, we envision to make a sustainable, positive impact to the environment and those deprived of nutritious foods, one farming community at a time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Wilby. That was one inspirational and excellent pitch. And how long have you been in operation?
2 years.
2 years. Okay. That's great to see that how you have pivoted the model during this pandemic and when you had logistics disruption. Can you also comment on how you handle other types of natural disasters? I know Philippines is prone to a lot of tropical storms, hurricanes, and typhoons. So in such cases, what has your experience been in the last 2 years, especially the one
Well,
that just passed last weekend?
actually, we have not been affected for the past weekend because it's a different region. But to actually we have this what you call crop insurance, where we make sure that our the farmers are still protected with their income even though there are this unforeseeable natural disasters. So we make sure with that. So it is part of our government initiative as well. But for the past 2 years, we have not been you know into this typhoon. Our area probably may not be prone so much to that, but it's more of the drought, but not too much drought. Yeah.
Thank you, Wilby. Great presentation. Very interesting. I just have two quick questions. Who exactly is your target customer? Which segment of the population in the Philippines? And then I'm also wondering how you target the farmers that you've selected to be included.
So it's really locational. As I've mentioned, our operations are in Bohol, so we are focusing the Central Visayas region because in the Philippines we have this zone Visayas and Mindanao, and within Visayas you have Central, the center and also the east and west. But we're specifically focusing on where we are located first, because most of the like for example existing e-commerce platforms, although it's not a produce to demand model, they are based in Manila, and not much has been put into like the Visayas region because most of the startups or even the accelerators, they are in Manila. So yeah, we're more of the province. We're taking on this locational target market.
But is it individuals or is it markets?
No, these are stores. So we're targeting stores.
Great presentation. Thank you so much, Wilby. How does your model differentiate from other digital markets connecting farmers and the end consumer? And what is the price advantage you can achieve for the consumer through your model?
So the difference in terms of model with existing e-commerce platform, they don't have this produce to demand model. That means they actually did not integrate with their farmers, or they don't go to be more inclusive. They just look for customers and then find farmers who have this. So regardless of whether it is into sustainable farming practices or conventional farming, that's not the case. So in our case, we wanted to be more involved with the farmers. That's why it's produce to demand. We first determine with partnership with customers, determine what are their demand, and then that dictates what our farmers plant, because in that way we minimize the wastage, and that is what is the aim, whatever the aims of our model, to eliminate the wastage, because we see a lot of actually farmers who are into monocropping and a lot of excess of that one. So that's our target. So that's the difference that we have. More inclusive.
Just to follow up to my earlier question about how you identify the farmers that you select to be included, and how you incentivize them to give up the monocropping to join this new approach.
Okay, we selected the farmers first off of the land, because the land that we have there, we have partnerships with the landowners, and usually it comes from our relatives that Anunang farm. Then also for the Kabalawan, this is in Cebu. This is in partnership with World Vision. So it's mostly, this is where we have connections to, farming communities that we have connection to, and where we have partner, for example, NGOs like World Vision, where these are connected to the farmers themselves. Because when you integrate with the farmers, when you want to have mindset change, you want it to be a part, you must have like someone that is an influencer to that, to be able to actually help or make this mindset change faster. So that's how we actually do it. And also, of course, the demand.
Very clean presentation. Thank you for that. Just one quick question. So you mentioned this fund, if you win, will be used for scaling. So is your model fit to scale? Do you think you want to scale first, or you want to, optimize on existing partners and the overall supply chain? Why you feel you should go for next geography?
Yeah, actually, the Cebu expansion is inevitable because we have a commitment to World Vision. Supposed to be it will happen, but the pandemic happens, and so it's difficult to actually make the farmers at risk in the area in Cebu because it's highly at risk in COVID there. So that's why the expansion is really inevitable because we have a commitment to World Vision. So we have to scale in a way. But now, because of the pandemic, we initially wanted to scale in Cebu, but then because of the pandemic, we scaled in Bohol for this year, and that's why next year it's in Cebu. So the expansion, the money will be used for the expansion in Cebu.